Hey there, hi there, ho there, livecast neighbors. What's going on, everybody?
What's going on, everybody? Hope you all are still getting through all the storm for all you people down south. Man, you guys have had a rough break. Thank God Mikey here isn't blown away. We need Mike on our show, otherwise we're screwed. So,
I don't know about screwed, but your mouthpiece would be gone, and my empty boxes will be floating down the middle of Ocala
yeah,
somewhere. But...
all my paints would be gone that I'm put my freaking my name on.
right,
So
that have been willed to you. Yeah, we're blessed here in the Ocala area. I got very lucky. If you guys have watched any of the videos, just a little bit of debris here and there. We lost power for 12 hours. We're praying for those guys that were down in the Sarasota area and east of Sarasota as it went across the state. There's flooding all the way up into Daytona. So
yeah,
our hearts go out to those people. Our prayers go out to those people. Our thoughts. Me personally, I'd like to say thank you to everybody that so many people reached out via phone, via email. Chris from Chris's Plastic House of Plastics and I have been chatting back and forth. Last I talked to him and heard he was right in the path.
yeah,
I mean, he was literally right in the path. And he said he was fine. And, I think they had just turned the power back on for him around 3:30 this afternoon. Our good friend Norman put out a video today. I don't know if you guys saw that. Norman, half-ass modeler, looks like he had a tree limb or a whole tree that landed on the corner of his house. So
yeah.
blessed that he didn't have it. Yeah, it sucks, man. That sucks really bad. But just say thank you again for everybody for your thoughts and your prayers. Lots of people reaching out, and it just goes to speak to this community, man. I know we've all talked about it before, but what an awesome community.
Yep. No, I'm glad. I mean, it sucks. There's a few people that lost their lives, unfortunately. Just a sad deal. I mean, a couple weeks of terrible weather hitting that southeast corner of the states. Not going to get into any of the political crap at all. But man, I'm so thankful for all the people that I know in full scale and in the modeling. I know like Old Tom, all them guys, they all said they're good. People are making videos, so glad you're all right, Mikey. That was good that you didn't get blown away. And I feel bad your lean-to didn't get taken down for you. But...
yeah, now I got to take it down, so it's going to be more work than if it just got blown down. But... well, I appreciate you guys, everybody checking in. Jason, Pappy called me, Matthew Inman called me, Sarge called me. A lot of people reached out via text and email, so that was awesome. But
yeah.
Enough of that. You mentioned something earlier, Jason, that is right on point with our topic today. Our topic is paint, and more specifically, ScaleFinishes paint.
Yep.
And we have an awesome guest for our first. Jason, you named it, so we'll let you tell you what we're going to do. What we're going to call the second Tuesday of the month is when we're doing this.
Second Tuesday of the month is going to be our manufacturer spotlight. We're going to try and get a manufacturer to come on every second Tuesday of the month, so they can give everybody the information of their product, how to use their product properly, where they can purchase the products. I think this is going to be a great addition to the show. We're still hopeful to get more manufacturers lined up. I think we've got a couple after Jameston tonight. So, of course, paint's always going to be a hot topic. So what better to start with paint? So
exactly right. Speaking of paint, we're bringing on Mr. Jameston Kroon from ScaleFinishes.com. Key his lovely music, Bruce.
there he is.
Hey, Mr. Jameson, welcome to the AMC livecast.
I'm super glad to be here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're honored that you came on, sir.
It's an honor to be on, especially the first one. I hope I kind of set the tone for this.
That's exactly right. Hopefully, they'll be able to reach your bar on the rest of our manufacturers will be able to reach the bar that I know you're going to set very high today.
Yes.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. Good.
If you guys know, a lot of you guys know, I've been my channel Scale Model Outlaw has been sponsored by ScaleFinishes for well over a year now, close to 2 years now, and we've always been really happy with their product, and we are absolutely flattered to have him on here today. Mr. Jameston, if you'd like to tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll move on into the product, and we'll break it on down for us.
Okay, so I've been building as long as I can remember. Been doing automotive paint since high school. I took a shop class in, I think it was my junior year, and didn't have a car to work on, so I just kind of ended up milling around. And the teacher found out about that and took me over to the paint. And I've always been good at math, so the minute he found out I could figure out what 4-to-1 and 8-to-1 and that meant, he was like, "Hey, you're our new paint guy." So that's kind of what got me involved in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been a car guy my whole life. Did actually didn't do a lot of automotive paint work until here lately. Mostly it's been personal stuff. I had a lot of cars that I bought. Of course, high school kids, you got no money. You buy
Right.
kind of garbage cars and work on them the best you can. So did that for a long time, and then I finally ended up in 2018. Got a job doing wheel repair, and that really helped my airbrushing skills because same thing I did on scale. I did full size, 8 hours a day, just banged them out. And so, yeah, really got a lot of practice there. I think it really helped me a lot.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to the whole starting out with crappy cars thing. I started out with a 77
Absolutely.
Ford Maverick.
Oh,
And then
that's kind of a
I
cool
moved.
car, though.
That's a good
Yeah, but I
car.
moved up to a Pacer. Once I finally got
Oh,
to the Pacer, I knew I hit the big
man.
time.
You just
There
went
you go.
backwards.
No. AMC all the way, baby. So
Okay.
the paint thing, that's awesome, man. I mean, I've read it on there, and anybody read your website. So you went from automotive paint. What got you in and decided to make the ScaleFinishes brand, and what motivated you to do that?
To get into the
Yeah.
modeling
So,
side.
Yeah.
oh no, you're fine. What was the question?
To get into the
What
modeling
motivated you?
side.
I'm sorry, we're
Oh yeah,
walking on each other.
yeah, you're fine. So yeah, I've always been kind of a Corvette guy. I hate to say that to a dyed-in-the-wool AMC guy, but anyway, I had decided back in I don't know 2006 or so that I was going to start doing a project where I was going to build every Corvette that the model companies made from '53 until the modern ones. And yeah, it took about 6 months before I ran out of colors to use. And I went, geez, I know paint shop guys and I know the paint work, so I can just do this on my own. And so I started buying actual colors and started with that, and then found out that a lot of people were like, hey, I want to do that too. So I'm like, okay. And then I just started selling stuff on eBay of all places, and just was advertising through like Model Cars Magazine, their forum. And yeah, just huge success. So just kept running with it and turned it into an actual business.
Nice.
Nice.
Now, is this something you do full time, or is
Yeah,
it your part time?
yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Been
I know
doing
you keep me. I keep you pretty busy because I got a couple bottles up there on the wall.
Yeah, you do.
But
Yeah, actually have been doing this full time with my wife since 2020.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. I know Jason was telling me before the show that he just placed an order with you.
Yes, I
Yeah,
did.
he did.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're
Awesome.
just barely getting it finished up, so it should be out tomorrow.
Cool.
Christine's waiting for it.
So to just jump right in, I've been asked, and I've referred to you a couple times, but I've been asked about the different paints. So you got a base coat, and
Yeah.
you got the enamel. Can you kind of break that down for us and tell us exactly what each one does, and maybe the best way to, take one at a time. Maybe the best way to apply it, what products to use with it. Your choice of which one you want to start with, but if
Okay.
you could break that down for us.
Yeah, no worries. Easiest one is gloss enamel. So it's a little bit of an older technology. It's been around since the 30s. Really gained popularity in the 70s and 80s with the OEM automakers. Has fallen out now because of the VOC laws and stuff, and then just kind of the usability of it. So let me grab one here. So it's all pretty standard stuff. Comes in our 2-ounce bottles. That's just our generic white. If I can get it in screen there. And so it's gloss enamel, so they're referred to as a single stage paint. which means you just paint them over the primer and they just dry glossy and hard and you're done. That's it. You can't sand them, you can't polish them, all that stuff. And then next up, and this is a more modern technology, started more in the 80s and really gained popularity to the 90s, is the base coats. We sell these also, and they're called a two-stage. And what they are is you put your primer down, and then you put your paint down, let it dry off, and then you come over that with a clear coat. That's what gives it the shine and the hardness, because otherwise it dries flat, and they're kind of fragile. So you don't want to leave them as just a top coat.
Yeah.
Now, what if, and I hear a lot about enamels and some of that technology, and maybe it's because of the type of the brand, but do you have a problem? I personally haven't had, but have you had complaints or a problem with the enamel drying? If you use testers as an example, it takes forever to dry. I always use the Easy Bake Oven, but obviously there's a difference between yours and testers, but does yours have a tendency to not dry? Is that just a paint thing or no?
So we use actual automotive paint. We use the Nason paint line. And so it has a tendency of drying really fast anyway, because it's a legit enamel. But I have heard of people saying that they take forever to dry. Usually it seems like if you spray a real super heavy coat, it'll kind of take a little while to dry. It's because of the way enamels work. The chemistry behind them is enamels dry from the top to the bottom and then cure from the bottom up. Okay. So you always have, so the very top layer always seems to be a little sticky and tacky if they're too thick. So just lighter coats, a little bit longer dry, a little bit longer flash time, flash time between the coats, and that seems to cure that if you are having that problem. Mm-hmm. We also sell a gloss enamel hardener. Just add that in there at 10-1, and that makes it dry in like 3 hours. It sets it up and cures it chemically, so it's almost like a 2K. Right. So it makes them really, really, versatile. You can do a lot with them.
Okay, nice. Cool. Yeah, I actually have some of that hardener too. But
okay.
Nice. Yeah. So what do you sell the most then? Your base coat, clear coat setups?
Yeah, base coat, clear coat seems to be the most popular right now. It depends on your application for what I would recommend you do. Small parts, engine, stuff like that. I find the gloss enamel works better just because you don't have to mess with the clear coat at that point. A little bit faster, a little bit easier to get done. But bodies, and especially if you're doing tape, if you're taping stuff off for graphics and that, I always like base coat because it's such a thin film thickness.
Yep. It doesn't bond with
Fred, no, me and Mr. Jameston are very good friends, but he's not going to send me a truckload of paint to sell at Acme. I don't think we're that good of friends yet, and I certainly can't buy enough to sell it around. But I'll be a representative if he'd have me, but definitely not a vendor at Acme this year.
Just sell some of the stash you have, and then I'll just send back what you need.
There's a lot of bottles there.
I think that's where Fred was going with that, but the answer, those are mine. I'm not going to mine.
I was hoping they were going to get caught up in that hurricane and float all the way up here to Minnesota, but they didn't come up here. So,
listen, I'll be honest with you, and I know Jameson still offers them, but every time I buy, one or two colors for something that I'm building, I always go down and buy the mystery colors. There's such a good deal. You get 3 bottles for in the 20s. So what's the price on the 3 bottles, Jameson?
Honestly, 24? I'm not sure. If Marie was here, she could tell me.
It's like $24 for 3 bottles. So it's like almost like buy 2 get 1 free. So I always get 3 of the mystery color base coats and 3 of the mystery color enamels, and that's a lot of where my stash came from because it's such a good deal down there.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. How did you come about doing that? And then, is it just extra paint that you kind of name off as the mystery? Okay.
Yeah, basically. So I hand mix all the paint colors, and it's a little hard sometimes, and I'll screw up. I'll be honest with you. So I'll end up with too much of a certain toner, so I can't sell that color because it's not actually the color. So I'll just throw a mystery color label on it, and there you go. So,
Makes sense. Nice. And now to elaborate on that a little bit, when you say you're making a color, you're making it to the paint code. So if you go into if they're familiar with your website, you go into Automotive Colors and you're looking for Ford 1978 Ford certain blue, we'll say Skylark blue or Skyline blue or something like that. That is actually the paint code, and you're okay. So you're a perfect example for me was the green, the Oriental green for my 54 Hudson.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is an actual paint code color, and I've never seen another one like that, but it was a beautiful color, and it certainly I
Beautiful.
enjoyed it. But it's
yeah.
cool that if you're trying to build a replica, you can get that actual paint code from that. That's very neat. And if somebody wanted, and I know it's on your website, so but if somebody had a special color that maybe you didn't show in your portfolio, they could contact you, and chances are you can make it up for them.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I work really closely with a local paint shop. They have a couple of other paint banks different from what I have, so usually they can get me set up with them. And yeah, exactly the same thing. It's all automotive paint. It's just as good as the stuff I mix. So yeah, I definitely could get anything you want. Decal matches, I could do those too. So
Yes, very
Nice.
cool.
That's good to know. That's
Very
really
cool. So
good
to
to know.
recap on the enamel, it's best to lay it down mist coat on top, light coat on top of light coat, giving it time to flash
Yep.
in that. And what about the
yep,
base coats?
exactly.
What's your suggestion on how to lay the base coats down?
Base coats, 2 to 3 kind of heavy coats, and you're fine. Just as long as long as you don't get long as you don't get the streaking, there's none of the primer showing through. It's all covered. You should be fine. And those, I've never had them. I've never had them unusably dry in less than a half hour. They
Okay.
just flash off that fast and they're done. Yeah.
So do you do the easy bake oven as we all slang it for? Do you use an oven with your models at all?
No, I never have, but in Utah we only got like 4% humidity, so it's never been a problem for me.
Gotcha. I was
Yeah,
just kind of curious if you would recommend a certain temperature if people were fixed on that. I use it just because it helps
Okay.
speed up the time, but I was just kind of curious
I
what you would recommend.
My worry isn't really the paint, it's the model, the plastic on the models.
Yep.
So that's what I would be mostly worried about. So I wouldn't say go very hot because of that, but if you want a chance really throwing it in there at a higher temperature, I I don't know. Like I said, I don't use them, but yeah, my worry would be the plastic more than the paint.
Okay.
I use it at because we hover here in Florida. We hover around 100% humidity all the time, right? We're having a low humidity day if we're at 78%. So, but
Oh,
how
yeah.
I usually do how I usually do mine is I put it in at 122 degrees, and then but I long bake it again. I've told this before. Usually when I'm painting, that's the last thing I'm going to do. I did all my prepping and everything, so I'm going to paint it, and then I'm going to put it in the easy bake oven for 10 hours, and I want to go to bed, get up the next morning, go to work, come back, and it's usually dried off very well by then. But
Perfect.
Jason, any questions about the base color or the enamel?
No, I know one question that's going to come up with a lot of people, and you probably see it, you probably get it in your thing is, I know a lot of people are very scared about lacquers and enamels, right?
Hmm.
The rule of thumb is you can put the lacquer down and then you can put enamel on top of the lacquer. You can't do it the other way around, right? So like a lot of your primers are a lacquer-based primer that guys are using out of the cans. Tamiya, the DuPonts, them are all kind of lacquer-based primers. And you can put your enamel on top of that. And people aren't
Yeah.
having as much problem. But a lot of people don't understand why you can't put lacquer on top of enamel. Do you get that
Um,
question a lot?
yeah. So what happens is enamels, like I said, they'll dry from the top down, and if you put something over the top of them, that reducer that's in the top coat paint, whether it's the enamel or the lacquer, it will soak into that bottom layer of enamel and it'll make it wrinkle and come up. So
Yep.
that's usually what they're fighting with that. But so yeah, the actually the term lacquer, they don't make an automotive grade lacquer anymore, so it's all basically enamels nowadays.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so even the base coats are an enamel base. That's just the way they chemically the way they dry that makes them different for the base coat version. But yeah, so you could use the gloss enamels over the base coats, but you wouldn't want to spray. I mean, you could spray base over the gloss, but you'd have to be really careful with it.
Right.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yep. Yep.
It does.
No, it's
And
always that hot topic where people always like will spray some lacquer clear or something on top of
Yeah,
enamel, and it's like lifting all their paint up, and they're like, "Why did this happen?" You see it all over Facebook all the time,
oh,
and it's like you have to be mindful that you're putting lacquer on top of that enamel, and it's just going to eat it up. So
yeah, enamel's really designed to be a standalone product. It really
yep,
doesn't need a clear coat or anything. So they're kind of touchy when you do try to do that to them.
yep. So yep,
Alright, so
that's the main thing that I wanted to touch on, because I know I get those messages in my inbox a lot. Is what clear did you use? You know, I've used a couple enamels on a couple as it is, and I
Okay.
told them I used 2K clear on it to give it a little
Oh
extra
yeah.
gloss, you know, to go over the decals. But you
Yeah.
can't use lacquer. And I told them that, and they're like, I'm confused. Isn't 2K a lacquer? I'm like,
No,
I don't think it is. It's kind of
no, it's not.
standalone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And actually, yeah, I was gonna say that the rules for 2K are completely different from anything else
yep,
because they use that catalyst in them, so they don't evaporate any solvents off or anything. They just sit and chemically cure real quick. So yeah, you kind of do whatever you want with 2K. It don't
yep,
care.
yep,
Decals, enamels, base coats, old paint, new paint. Yeah, 2K don't care. Just
right.
spray it on. It's fine.
And that's the same with stickers, right? A lot of guys are scared to even clear over their stickers. I mean,
Oh
some
yeah,
don't want clear on the stickers because they're looking for a matte look on their decal, but some want to seal it in there, and the lacquer will just eat those water slides right up, you know.
oh yeah, yeah.
So, so since we're talking about clears, how would you like to describe, you know, to the people here on what clears you offer and your procedure of laying them down?
Okay. So yeah, we just started selling the honey gloss clear, which I love. I think that's the best clear that we sell. It's a gloss enamel, just like our single stage paint. So it's just as easy to use, uses the same reducer, sprays same pressure, same tip size, all of that. So that's really nice. And then, like I said, with the gloss enamels, you can also add that hardener to it to turn it into almost like a 2K, but then you're not having all the chemicals and all the nasty smell that 2K gives you. So it's nice that way. It amber colored in the bottle. That's why we call it honey clear because it's got kind of a honey color, but it does dry perfectly clear. You will never see it even if you do it over white. I got a couple of models I've done it with, no issues at all. And then with it being automotive paint, being inside, you're never going to have it yellow. It's never going to crack. It's not going to give you any issues, and it's just tough as nails. So leave it on your build shelf for a long time. Gets nasty and dirty and dusty. You can just wipe it right off, just like a real car. So that's my favorite.
So is it very acceptable if you say scratch the top layer of the clear as you're handling it? You can go back and kind of scuff it and touch it right back up.
Yeah, you can. That'd be no problem.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then our 500 clear is the other clear that we sell, and it's really nice. It's a little bit harder than it's a little bit harder than the gloss, the honey gloss. So it's really nice if you're doing the jobs where you want to sand, you want to color sand them, so you can polish it out afterwards. It works really well for that if that's what you're trying to do. Honey
Okay.
gloss is a little more one and done. That stuff you can touch up or the 500 you can kind of touch up a little bit more with the sanding and you can polish it and that kind of stuff. That's kind of the main difference in them. They're both single stage clear coats, so no cat. You don't have to have a catalyst in them.
Okay. And then I seen on your site you kind of offer like some cleaning supplies and stuff like that. Do you offer a polish then too for your clears, or?
We don't do polishes yet. We just got in some polishing cloths that work really well on taking the fingerprints and stuff off, but no actual polishing compounds yet. That will be coming in the future though.
Okay. Is there any brands that you would recommend for the people to use with your product, or is it pretty much sky's the limit?
It's kind of whatever works for you. I really like turtle wax rubbing compound to take out
Yep.
all the real rough scratches and stuff. And then I'm not 100% sure. I think it's a 3M polish that I've been using. I really like, but it's just for hand polishing. That's what it says on the label for hand polishing, and that seems to work really well for me. But I know, you ask any painter what's their favorite polish, they're going to give you an answer.
Right.
So it's kind of whatever you want to use. It'll work with all of it.
Yep. It's just, I know that some people, once they get into a rhythm, and a lot of people will say, well, this is what the manufacturer recommended, so I'm not going to deviate, So
Yeah,
these are the questions that usually come up with that type of stuff. I mean, it's the same
yeah,
thing with my world with if you do a real race car motor and stuff like that, and they'll go, well, what oil did you put in it? Well, this is what I use.
Yep.
well, I'm putting
Right.
that in for the rest of its life then. Well, you can pretty much run whatever you want. Just stay with this weight, you know?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
530 is the same no matter who makes it.
Makes it. He's got a different label on it.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
circling back to Jason's order and to touch on some of your other different available products, and we talked about your automotive colors where they can go in and find a year, make, and model.
Yeah.
You have a section there called movie colors or
I
movie
do.
colors for cars. Yeah, and that's where
Yeah.
Jason just ordered for the Christine and the Milner coupe.
And he got the Milner's yellow.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Which I called it just Milner's yellow instead of what they refer to it as in the movie.
So that's pretty cool. And again, those are color match numbers and all that. That's cool, man. That's really cool. What I'm trying to think. You got. I thought I saw you had like a bunch of different. The Bullet car, I believe you have.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have the green for Bullet. Yeah, have Fast and Furious colors. Have the gray for Eleanor, both the gray that they used on the gray they used on the body and the black, the new one. Yeah, the GT500. I have the correct yellow for the old 73 one. Yeah, got them all. And that's an expanding line. So yeah. And again, this comes back to what you asked earlier about me getting colors I don't have listed. If there is something in the movie you want to get, just let me know. I'm sure I could come up with something for it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what Fred was asking. What about Cheese Whiz from Sullivan's 55? I guess Cheese Whiz was the color of his car. I'm a big House of Colors fan. I got a lot of that stuff up there that they see as the House of Colors. That's beautiful, beautiful stuff. Yeah, I love that line.
So you offer that too, right?
So I was going to say, yeah, I do House of Colors. And one thing I do want to say is, and I get this question a lot, is, what base color do I put under my candy colors? The candy colors from House of Colors are not actual candy colors. They just call them that because they mimic the look of a candy paint over a silver or gold base already. But they're just base coats, just like any of the other stuff. So you just spray them, clear them, and you're done. That's what makes them so nice.
Okay. Nice.
And another lot category you have is your mids, which is your pearls, and you got the color shift.
Yep.
And yeah, so those would be a lot more of what people think of when they think of candy colors. I mean, literally, we sell candy colors in the mid coat line, so you need something sparkly and bright to go underneath that. But the other mid coat colors, they just go over a regular base coat color. So like all the color changing stuff, all the pearls, all the flakes, you can just spray those over whatever color you want. So you buy one of those bottles of mids, you could put thousands of different colors under them and come up with a new paint job every time you sprayed it.
Oh, that's nice.
Wasn't it the other day when we had our little pre-meeting thing? Wasn't it you telling me that you're going to be dealing with a different brand?
Yes.
Is that correct on the candies?
Yeah. So when I was at SEMA last year, there was a guy there that was selling a lot of different mid coats and stuff, and I got in contact with them, and they have a much better selection than what we currently have, and they're a little bit better priced. So we've been trying to get going with that. The only problem is they have a pretty high minimum of order, so we got to get that all taken care of. But we will be bringing in some more mid coats and some newer stuff on those.
Nice. That'll be nice. Yeah, I definitely got to send you the picture of that real car that I want you to try and match. Come up with.
I definitely want to work on that.
Yeah, I did find a color that I don't see a lot on your site, and I put that in the order, which is that Dodge Challenger Indigo Blue. I love that blue. So I'm very excited to get that blue. Yeah. Yep.
We kind of skimmed over the primer. We got right into colors and kind of skimmed over the primer. But you want to tell us a little bit about your primer and maybe the best way to lay it down? What's the best thing to do with it?
Yeah, so we actually sell 5 different colors now. We have our white. This light doesn't work very well. There we go. We have our white. We have black, which we just got in.
Nice.
We have our gray, which gray you're going to use on 99% of what you do. It's pretty universal. We have a pink color in case you like to do a lot of bright reds, and then we have our red, which is just a really nice kind of rusty kind of color. That works well for industrial applications and military stuff. They use a lot of it in that. And that's the basics on the colors we sell. It's all ready to go. So pre-thin, like everything we sell, it's pre-thinned. It's ready to spray out of the bottle onto the model, like I joke, and doesn't cover up any of your details. So if you're doing really fine work, it's fine. And it makes a really good barrier between the paint and the plastic, which is what you really need your primers for. All of my paint colors should have primer under them. So
Okay.
yeah, so we do that. A lot of different stuff, different ways of doing those. The white works really well under my House of Color neon colors because they like a really bright base coat. Everything else I usually do gray. We do the pink for the brighter reds, and somebody said they like them under yellow. I don't know. White I would recommend under yellow, and then black and the rust for kind of the military and the darker colors. Or if you're doing the bottom of a Mustang, Ford just primered them and just left it red primer. So
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
very cool, man.
And
Very
your
cool.
primers, you've had good success with them sticking even to today's technology of resin parts as well.
Yeah. I've done a lot of 3D print wheels. I've done a lot of resin engine parts and stuff. Never had a lick of trouble with any of them.
Awesome. That's good
Yeah.
news.
And I can vouch for that as an end user. I use it quite a bit, and I've had good luck with it as well.
So do you sell your primers? I think I seen this correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you had like a group of blacks that you could buy.
Yeah.
Do you do that with your primers? So say somebody's starting out, you could buy a 5-pack of your primer colors in a group then?
Yeah, we only have it as the 4-pack though, because we just barely started getting the black in stock.
Okay.
So we're probably going to change that. But yeah, you can buy a 4-pack of primer. And then,
Okay.
we have the 4-pack of the blacks, which gives you the gloss, the base coat, the semi-gloss, and the flat. So that covers all of your black needs.
Yeah,
So,
and it's a really good deal. I looked at it
Yeah.
and I just thought, well, I'm going to get these main colors first, and then we'll come back and because I'm a sucker for black. So I'm going to need some more black.
Looks good with anything. So,
Yeah. Well, I'm very intrigued. I mean, I love when I looked at the Dodge colors, I'm a Dodge guy and there's a long list of colors. And I was just sitting over here drooling. I'm like, wow, he's actually got the code there and everything. I was very impressed with your site. So good job.
Good. Thank you. It's all hand coded HTML. So I do that. I work on it like 2-3 hours a day every day and trying to get them all listed.
Yeah, I bet.
There's a lot of stuff in it. You have military colors as well.
Yes.
We talked about you have some metallizers in there. If I'm going to be honest, I haven't used any of the metallizers, so I can't speak to there. But if they're like the rest of your products, they're awesome products.
Yeah, they're good. I like them.
They work, right? They do the job. We did kind of skip over to 2K clear. We left it out. I don't mean to keep going around in circles, but we don't want to leave the 2K clear out.
Oh yeah, you're fine.
Would you say that that's probably the biggest seller right now? The way it clears is the 2K clear.
2K is the way to go. Yeah. So 2-part we sell a kit. It's a 1-ounce kit, so it's 1 ounce. It's basically 1 ounce of the clear, and then we got a 1/4 ounce of the hardener. You just pour them in together, done and done. Shake it up real good, and it just sprays. You're ready to go. Then we also sell a 5-ounce kit, but you have to measure that out yourself to do the 4-to-1 on it. So we've had pretty good success with both of them. It seems like people are kind of taking to both of them. And then, like I mentioned earlier, 2K is just, if you need it shiny and you don't want to spend forever messing with it, 2K is your way to go. Just spray it over till it turns shiny, leave it alone, let it dry 4 or 5 hours. It's done. You're good. You're done.
So what's your shelf life on your clears, providing they're not mixed?
I think we're only offering 2-3 months on the clears because the hardener it's actually a premium 2K product, and the hardener has a tendency of setting up on its own. So I really don't recommend you buy them unless you're just about to paint with them.
Ready to shoot.
That's actually a good point. I probably should have brought that up earlier. And then once they're mixed, man, they're in that bottle about 4 hours and they just harden up like a rock.
Yeah, you're committed at that point. Yep. So, I do have a question on the bottles. So if you look at all the other manufacturers, I mean, all of them, they're all glass bottles. Is there a reason why you went with a plastic bottle? Is it a cost?
Lighter and they don't break when you drop them. I'm always dropping stuff. So
yeah, I just didn't know. I mean, a lot of people are, some guys will go, oh, your paint can only be in cans. Oh, your paint can only be in glass. It's like, really? Does the paint really know? I mean,
No, it doesn't.
yeah,
No, it
Well,
doesn't.
yeah,
And that's a good point. They will gas out a little bit. You'll
yeah,
see it, but if you just keep adding reducer to them, as long as they don't dry completely out, they're good forever. I have
yeah,
stuff that's 20 years old in bottles here. Yeah, still usable like the day I mixed it.
yeah. So to clarify the shelf life thing, now your paints, as long as they don't harden, you've got all the shelf life, as long as you're keeping them in a damp air or a non-damp area, not hot area. But your clears, you definitely want to buy right as you're getting ready to spray.
The 2K, you really want to do that within a month or two before you get it. The
Yeah.
5-ounce one, because you get the full entire ounce of the hardener, it seems to have a much longer shelf life. They're doing
Okay.
like 6-7 months before we're seeing any sort of issue with those. So if you do the 5-ounce, you can, but then you got to mix it. So it's kind of like, do you want to play junior chemist, or do you want the ease of just mixing the 1-ounce bottles?
Well, I think some people enjoy that part, though.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I do. I mean, I think I'm used to it. But there's definitely a few channels that I watch. Craig's Corner is definitely one of them.
Okay.
He likes mixing his paints, and he shows it on his channel, and I think it helps. But you're right. There's probably a lot of people that just like to pour it from the bottle into the gun and let it fly. So
Yeah.
Well, for me, it was when I got back into the hobby 2 years ago, and this is how I found ScaleFinishes. Was I was looking for something, to quote Jameston, is out of the bottle onto the model. I didn't want a chemistry set.
yeah,
And that has changed for me because I've gotten more acclimated to it and got more familiar with it. So as you grow with it, you can, start getting into the 2K clear and start actually
experimenting.
getting your little mini chemistry set. But talking
Yeah.
about the 2K clear, and it's been a minute since I've ordered some, but you still selling the hardener? I mean, all your paints or whatever come in the plastic bottle, but the hardener still comes in that little aluminum bottle?
The hardener on the 1-ounce kit still does, yes.
Yes. Okay. And that's for that there. I can see why that would be an aluminum, less exposure to light, and
Yeah.
that would
No
last
light,
longer that
nothing's
way.
gonna soak through or anything. Yeah, exactly.
And I've had good luck with them. I've used quite a bit of them, and I've had good luck with them. But if you do open, especially if you open it and you don't use it all, and you go to put the lid back on it, yeah, it starts hardening up on. It'll get hard enough to where you can't get the lid off, and then you just toss the
Yeah.
whole thing. But
Yeah.
Exactly.
it's good stuff for sure. Well, all right. As always, you guys, you can check out ScaleFinishes.com, but we're not done with you yet, Mr. Jameson. We happen to have been watching your channel, and we know that you're a builder.
Yeah.
So let's talk to us about what it is that you build and what's your the hobby part of it, the fun part. Got the business
Yeah.
behind us. Let's
What
talk
got
about the
me
fun
into
part.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly.
So I build everything. I don't know how to put that. If it's plastic, I'll glue it together. I honestly, I don't care. There's just stuff that I love and I want to work on it. So I know when we were talking the pre-show, you were saying you were building a 67
Oh,
Charger.
that's nice.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
So
Love it. Got the steel wheels looking on the back there.
yeah, with the street legal drag slicks, and then did a
Yeah.
custom AAR style exhaust
Nice.
system on it.
Yeah, the TA style dump out the side.
Yeah. Um, that's it's got the Hemi in it. I wired it pretty much box stock. Other than that,
Nice.
The yellow plug wires. That's a big topic lately too, is the
Yeah,
plug wire
gotta have yellow plug wires.
for a long
I'd
time I
show you
did
my
military
67
stuff.
body, but it's look at that. Go ahead. That's the tank.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I saw your video that you had some paint issues with that.
Yeah, that
So yeah,
was
British
my
Field
fault.
Artillery.
Wow,
That's
that
cool.
thing is awesome.
Yeah, and then I did a little bit of weathering on the track and the skirt a little bit, just airbrush some tan over the top of that to make it look a little dirty.
Nice.
So yeah, and that's actual NATO 3 color. That's the green, the brown, and the black that they use. And everything's up to spec. I mean, even the Charger was a correct 67 color.
Nice. That's
And then
definitely
you
something
mentioned
I want to do is armor. That's a craft in its own with painting.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun though. I love it.
Yeah.
And then I know you were talking about my channel. And on my channel, I built this one. So Wonder Woman,
Oh heck
Nice.
yeah. That is too
1/8
cool.
scale.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Linda
Look at
Carter
the
would be
eyes.
proud.
The eyes look good too. The eyes are like the hardest thing to do on figures. Is detail on the eyes, yeah.
Yeah, that's the hardest part to get right.
So is the all the gold bracelets and stuff, is that your metallizers?
No, that's actually gold bare metal foil.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, I just quickly did that with it.
That's nice.
That's very nice.
So yeah, she's just RAL colors, 1001 for her arms and stuff. That's actually a House of Colors red for her bodies there. And then I think that's a Volkswagen color for her shorts. And then it's a Federal Standard color on her boots. So figures, man, they use all sorts of different colors.
Yeah, you did. Nice.
That is awesome, man. That's awesome. That armor stuff, I'm like Jason. We've got a group build coming up at Thanksgiving called the Turkey Shoot. We don't host it, but we're going to go ahead and join it. But and the idea of it is during Thanksgiving, you got 4 days to build something outside of your comfort zone. And I found this. I was going through my collection, my stash, and I found this RS01 battle tractor. So it's like a little cab over or cab over design with a bed on the back and it's tracks. So I think that's going to be my
that's cool.
my build. But Jason and I also talked about some tanks. I got a couple 172nd tanks that I picked up at and we talked about doing one of those too. So maybe we'll do one of those instead of do it together so I can lean on him. Maybe he leans on me.
Yeah, we got a question at the bottom here for Jameston. What is your channel name for your channel?
My YouTube channel is just ScaleFinishes.
Okay.
It's what I name everything. I know it's not original, but you know, I got a theme going.
Yeah, you got a brand, you stick to it, right?
You never know on YouTube, though. I mean, there's a few people that have some different names versus what their channel name is too. So that's a good question.
Yeah. You'll know you got it right if you see that little 12-second video thing that came on right before Jason. You'll know you got it right when you see that.
Yeah, you're already getting subs in the chat. They're already subbing your channel. So
cool.
Look at that. Cool.
Well, yeah, I hope they like the channel. I just uploaded a new review video last night. And I'm working on my second Porsche video right now. So
nice. That's awesome.
And Matt, I haven't been paying too much attention to the chat, but Matt Lucas C, if you're in there, he did say Porsche. Everybody says Porsche, but you know he did lose that bet, so he has to say Porsche now, and I know it's driving him crazy. But
oh, okay. Somebody was betting on how to pronounce it.
Yeah, Luca. Well, it's kind of it's a podcast that we listen to called the Scale Model Car Podcast with some mutual friends of ours, Matt, Lucas C, Mr. BG, Jason Hanscom, and Chuck. Well, Chuck, I think he does it mostly just to make Matt mad, but he calls it a Porsche, and Matt calls it a Porsche. And they hold a Porsche group build every year, and Matt had to get his Porsche done on time, or he had to call it a Porsche for a year. And it just drives him nuts. So he didn't get it done. He couldn't find his aluminum, the not bare metal foil, but similar to bare metal foil. He couldn't find his. He couldn't get it done. So now he's got to call it a Porsche for a year. So I know it's driving him back crap crazy.
I'm sure it is.
And the other guys are saying Porsche now.
I had a friend who spent a lot of time in Germany, and he loved Porsches, and he said that's how it's pronounced. That's how the Germans say his name. It's Porsche. Don't call it Porsche. That'll piss everybody off. So I've just called it Porsche forever.
That's the correct way to say it for sure. Wow, this thing been zinging by 44 minutes. This has been very entertaining and very awesome.
Been fun.
Besides your builds, is there anything that you want to bring up, talk about? And I mean, I know we talked about your builds a little bit, and that's great. But anything that you'd like to share with the class, so to speak?
Kind of to come back to what we were talking about earlier. We are expanding out now. I've been picking up model kits here and there. The plan's always been to sell models, decals, parts, paint, everything you need. Kind of that tagline on my logo that says from start to finish. That's kind of what that was referring to, not just the paint work finish part of it. So yeah, we're growing. We're growing a lot this year. We just picked up a lot of sanding sticks and tools like that, some sandpaper and some sanding sponges and stuff
Nice.
that we've been working with, and they're just amazing. So yeah, so check out the page and look through it. There's a lot of stuff on there that I don't think people would even look for, thinking I would have, because we have been
Right.
growing lately.
Yeah,
Well, that's
that's good to
very
know.
cool. Like a one-stop shopping deal. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So when do you think you're going to
But
have kits and stuff on there then?
We've been looking at them for the last little while. I would guess probably within a couple of years. It's not like the forefront of stuff. We're doing mostly tools and things now, but it is
Okay.
something we are working on.
You going to venture into like 3D stuff at all?
Oh, I would love to, but the problem is everybody I know that does really good 3D stuff, they have their own sites. Like I buy
Yeah.
a lot from VCG Resins. I do a lot with
yeah.
Fireball Model Works, his
Yep.
resin stuff, and
Yeah.
they're you can't beat them for their price or their shipping or anything else. So I just kind of tell people about that stuff, but would like to get into that if I could.
Yeah, Fireball boy, he's got some
Yeah,
beautiful carburetors. Wow.
Yeah.
and Josh at VCG, he's
That's
amazing
good.
as well.
Yeah.
I've never met him, but I've got a bunch of his product. I'm a big Iceman Collections guy. Joel's been super good, much like you. He's been super good with me on the channel and very helpful. And if I may take a second, we have Mr. Joel booked for our November 7th. He's going to be our
Absolutely.
second manufacturer spotlight. So you get to be
Yeah.
the first, just like in the pecking order one on the channel there. You came along first and then came along Joel. But he's super supportive. But yeah, Josh Reese, he definitely makes some amazing stuff. If
Yes,
you've
he
ever
does.
seen the video, the build for my 54 Hudson, along with a lot of other stuff. But his brake booster and calipers, or excuse me, brake booster and master cylinder, absolutely amazing. I mean, super
Oh
detailed
yeah.
stuff. And I know he deals with
Yeah.
Chris over at Scale Speedworks, and they got a whole thing going on over there. A bunch of great guys. In fact, I just got my new magazine, and Chris has done an article in there. So I'm excited to be able to sit down and read that, probably right after we get done here. But
Okay.
super great guys for sure. But
Yeah, I met them at GSL, the last GSL, and yeah, they were just amazing guys. Like they're really focused on what they're doing. They're really professional. They have a really good understanding what the hobby is too, which is nice. I
Yeah.
found, unfortunately, modern times there are far too many guys that just want to sell you stuff. They don't know, they don't care. It's just make a sale for those guys. And you get
Yeah.
guys like Josh Reese, and they're not like that. It's so refreshing.
Yeah, that's good.
amen,
That means
amen, man.
they care about their customers, and that's, like you said, that's hard to find these days.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
too
I'm
many
actually
people and too many businesses trying to turn over a dollar as opposed to, and maybe even have a
no,
decent product, but that's not the person you're going to call when you have an issue because you're not going to find anybody at the other end. And
exactly.
sadly, we all have issues. You know, I was in the one-to-one business for a long time. You try your best to put your best foot forward, but sometimes crap happens. You know, and it's not so
Yep.
much that you
Exactly.
had a problem; it's how you handle the problem that separates a good businessman or a good customer service from one from the other. But
Exactly.
that's
Not trying, wasn't trying to head down that row, but since we're talking about it a little bit, I know I don't mention this a lot kind of publicly, but I have 100% satisfaction guarantee on all the stuff that I sell. If you
Good.
don't like
well,
it,
that's
if you have a
amazing.
problem, if you have a question, come to me, please. Don't just be like, oh, I hate this, and throw it away and not buy from me again. Give me a chance to fix it. And I'm not going to
Right.
just send you your money back. I'm going to try to fix it, whether it's another bottle of paint or I try to troubleshoot for you or whatever it takes. We're all in this hobby together, and I want you to have fun. That's part of why I started the business, was to bring my expertise and let everybody kind of share in that, the better paints, the better finishes. And I just want to make sure they're taken care of. And it seems so simple to me, but I have a lot of customers that come to me because they bought from other guys, and they're like, yeah, I went over and I bought something from him and it didn't spray really well. And when I asked him about it, he told me I needed a new airbrush. And it's like, all you need to do is turn the air down. I can tell you what your problem is, So
Right.
yeah, it's kind of sad the way some people treat their customers. But like I
Yeah.
said, I've always been, take care of the customers. The customers are who's throwing money at you. That's why you're in
Right.
business, is to get money thrown at you. So how is there any
Yeah.
other way to do it than that?
Right.
We can't do it for free, so we got to check. You know,
Exactly.
I'm sure if we could do it for free and still survive and not have to pay the light bill and buy the base product that you have to mix up, and I'm looking
Oh,
at that rack
exactly.
behind you. I have no idea what that stuff costs, but you are officially the only guy on here that I've ever seen that had more paint than me. but, but I know
Yeah, so
why,
that's
because
my
you're my dealer.
yeah, that's
Wow,
my
that's
nascent
awesome.
paint rack. It's
That is
102 toner colors. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with how paint's actually mixed, but it's all toners, and then you add a base to that. So then that makes your base coat of your gloss enamels. So yeah, each one of these is a different color. I can show you one a little. So we have like, this is just our white. That goes with colors if you want to lighten that up. And then we have, you know, yellows and stuff. And it's just all those. They're just all those little toners. And then they mix out by hundredth of a gram for the size that I mix them out in. So you're always counting like drops and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'll probably do a video on my YouTube channel where I mix up a couple of colors and show exactly how it works. But yeah, that's our big
oh
mix
that
bank. It's really funny to have one of those.
Oh, I think that would be an awesome video to see how you go from, you know, your white base and then you tint it with it. I'm sure we've all seen it at the hardware store. Sounds like a very similar process, but you know, you
It's really
mix this
similar,
and
just
that,
the
that,
bases
and
are different.
yeah.
Yeah,
So you mix this color with this color and this color and this color, boom, there it is. You know, it's like, it's
exactly.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's
So it's
amazing. That is
yeah,
so cool.
it's 8 grams of white to 2 grams of blue, and then you do your pacemaker, and you've got like a powder blue. And some of them are that simple. Some of them you got like 40 different toners in them. They're pearls and metallics, and yeah.
Yeah. And
Do
then, and how
people
long? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jason. I'm sorry.
do people message you then as far as if, let's say, for example, the indigo blue that I ordered, do they say,
Yeah.
hey, what color primer should I put, or do they not do that and then call you and say, hey, look, this thing ain't the right tone?
No, mostly they don't. Just gray primer. That's going to work for 99% of what you do.
Okay.
So usually everybody's using that anyway, so it always works out nice. We're not skimping on the paint, so it has really good coverage. So I've never
Okay.
had anybody have a translucency problem with it.
Okay, that's good. Because I know some colors are very finicky on that. And I know when I did the yellow, I used white primer just because I didn't
Okay.
want it to darken up any bit. But then
Right.
when I've done some translucent blues and stuff, I use black primer on purpose to darken the blue up,
Darken them up.
give it
Yeah.
more of a
Yeah.
midnight color. Um, so I think that especially when you look at your site and you're really big on getting the correct paint code for the correct year,
Yeah.
I could see the human error side of somebody putting, a color that's way too dark, and then their color changed, and then they would be unhappy.
Yeah.
That's why I was kind of throwing that out there. If that was a problem that you were seeing a lot, or
No, it's not. Not really. Like I
okay,
said, yeah, I just recommend the gray. That works under almost everything. I
that's
do
good.
get asked a lot, if I am spraying something specific, is there something I should do? So I do get that a lot. And yeah, basically super light colors, yellows, light red, really light colors, white primer, the reds, the oranges. You can use the pink primer if you want to.
Pink. Yeah.
Yeah, black if you kind of want to darken it up. Gray is what I always use. White to lighten it. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, like what you said earlier too, you said that somebody was using like the pink for yellows. I've never heard of that. You would think that that would kind of orange up a little bit, but maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah.
talked about them on a video I had, and a guy sent me an email, and he's like, "Yeah, you should have said that it works under yellow better too. I use nothing but pink under all my yellows. It works great." And I was like, "I've never heard
Yeah,
that, but somebody said it was good." So
Joe just said that too. Pink primer helps the yellow pop too. So I've never tried
okay.
that. So that's something
I
I
haven't
guess
either.
I'll have to try.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna buy your primers, try them things out.
Okay.
Sometimes
Well,
the cans, I don't like the cans sometimes because you can tell that gas is in there, and then it takes a little bit to gas out with the aerosol
Yeah.
cans.
Yeah.
So because I usually do a little light block sand with the primer,
Okay.
and
Okay.
then I'll lay my bases down. So
Okay. So my primer is actually called primer sealer, so you really don't have to sand it if you don't want to.
Okay.
It turns out really smooth, but you can if you want to. So yeah, if you like doing sanding between primer and paint, perfect. That works perfect.
Okay. Awesome. And then how many coats do you generally recommend on your primers before you
I
go to
shoot
your
2 or
base?
3.
2 or 3?
2
Okay.
to 3, yeah.
Nice.
Maybe 4 if you plan on blocking it back a little bit, just to give you that little bit of extra thickness of primer to play with a little with the sandpaper.
Yep. Now, let's just say I burned through on a body line and I've got 3 or 4 coats of primer. Is it very applicable to where I could just touch it up with a paintbrush and then
Yeah,
back to coat
you
sanding
can.
that?
Trick to that is pour it into something, let it dry for, I don't know, primer sets up pretty fast, so I wouldn't do more than like maybe 4 or 5 minutes. But just keep testing it until it becomes a brushable consistency. You can brush it on there, no problem. Sand it back down so it's all smooth. You'll never notice you had to fix it.
Awesome. That's good information.
I've done that. I've done that with both the base coats and the enamels. Put them on a little cup or something. Let them gas out a little bit. Because a lot of times I'll paint the motor the same color that I'm painting the body. So I'll get them to match like I did on the Hudson. You know, you get a glue smudge or something on there. You sand it in that one little spot. Let that paint gas off a little bit. Dip it with your brush. Touch it up, and like you said, you can't even tell it's there. I've
That's good.
actually learned
Yeah,
that watching one of your videos. You
Oh,
were
okay.
showing how to do that. I'm like, okay, yeah, that works. But
Yeah, that's awesome.
definitely want to, great stuff, Mr. Jameson. We appreciate it. You've definitely educated myself. I feel like hopefully some of our viewers learned a little something and got some stuff figured out. But it's been a really good time. We're creeping up on our hour. Again, we don't shut it off at an hour. If we keep going, we keep going. But it's what a great time. What a lot to learn. Like I said, that we're talking about the Chargers. I'm sorry, I was babbling on for a minute. We were talking about the 67. I'd show you mine with the super primer on it, but it's currently in the easy bake oven. So
The first one or
the
the second
original
one?
one, I made a video. I made a video of the original 67, but again, that was 100% my fault, not a paint problem. I put the gold behind it. That tester's gold mixed 50-50 with unicorn tears, and then I sprayed the apple, the house color apple red on top of it, let it dry, baked it, but I sanded it, but apparently I just didn't need to put the gold underneath is what it boils down to. But I did it, and then of course when I put my tape on there, the paint didn't have anything to adhere to, so it just pulled the freaking paint right off. So that one's in the purple pond. Now I'm going to do this one right, but again, a installer issue, not a paint issue.
No, you're fine.
And then you have
Oh,
2
sorry,
base coats, right? As far as
Yeah.
your translucents, and one of them is what, Orion Silver, and what's your other one?
It's the gold. I don't know off the top of my head. I have them listed at the top of the page for those.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's what, something BC02, and is it a 01 or is it a 03? That might be.
I think it's 02.
02.
03, I think, is the black.
Is it?
Because I got the Orion Silver. There's a bunch of different ones, but the Orion Silver, Pagan Gold, and then there's of course it's all about what you're trying to get to as well. But
I know your
Orion
biggest
Silver is the one I bought a bunch of.
Golds and silvers are usually
so
your top bases.
Yeah, I was going to say I just pulled it up on my website, so it's BC01 Solar Gold is by Gold for the ground coat on the mids, and then it's the BC02 Orion Silver for the ground coat for the candies.
So your gold has got a lot of metal flake in it, just like the silver, right?
Yeah. Really, really a lot of flake to make it shine through that candy. Yeah. And
that's what we were talking about with that orange that I sent you, Jason. That orange has got a lot of flake in it.
Yeah, well, I have the silver, and that's got a lot of flake in it. It's beautiful in there.
Yeah.
So that's why I was kind of curious if that gold was the same way.
Yeah, the gold looks pretty much the same thing, but just gold colored instead of the silver. But you get the same flake, the same feel to it.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to try that stuff. That's going to be a lot of fun.
I've got a quick question. It might be a little bit out of the norm. Back to clear coats. Have you done or had any experience with putting your pearls in the clear coat and then spraying the pearl in the clear coat at the same time? Have you ever? I've been told that works, but I've never tried it. So basically,
the pearls. The pearls that we have are dry pearl, and we mix them into what comes out as our 500 clear anyway. So I guess it would thin them out. I guess it would thin them out a little bit, so you could build them up or have a more subtle effect. I don't know.
Okay. I was just thinking about that because I'm thinking about pearls on this 67 Charger, and somebody said that I could try that, but I wanted to see what your opinion was. But if it's already got 500 clear in it to thin it out, then there's really no sense.
Fred's
good question, Fred. What size
here.
needle?
Oh yeah, I was going to talk about that. I'm sorry, I forgot that. So I recommend a 0.3 or a 0.5 on the needle size, and then I'm spraying between 20 and 30 psi. I personally like right at about 25. You do a little less, a little bit more. To come back to the touch-up, rule of thumb is the more air you spray, the more paint's going to come out with it. So if you dial it way down to like 10, maybe 15 pounds, you could touch up very small areas really easily without a lot of overspray or anything. So you don't have to brush them if you don't want to. I hope that helps with that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to mention that and I forgot about it.
And then you just recommend basically cheap lacquer thinner to clean out the airbrushes with your product? Yeah.
Yeah, I used to use the stuff from Walmart that comes in that little blue quart can.
Yeah, the clean strip stuff.
Clean strip, yeah, that's the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
That works fine.
Awesome. That's awesome.
I do it a little different. I keep some squeeze bottles next to my paint booth, and I'll use the first bowl. I'll use fill it up once the bowl's empty and it's just got the paint residue in there. I'll put I'll fill it up with acetone and clean it with acetone first, and then chase it with the thinner. I don't know why I do that. Somebody must have told me that a long time ago. I know that acetone will break it down pretty quick. But I was also told not to leave it in there because it like eat up your seals and tear up your airbrush. So I chase it with the thinner. But it's a bowl of that, and then 2 bowls of thinner. Yeah, it seems to work really well. It gets the heavies out, I guess, for lack of better terms.
Okay.
And,
I just clean them between color coats. I'll spray primer, then do a real quick dirty clean. I know that sounds weird, but I just pour reducer in it till it comes out clear and call it done. And then I'll spray the color. And as long as it's not a metallic, then I'll just do exactly the same clean and then shoot the clear. And then I'll break it down and really super clean it up. That's how I always do mine.
So have you noticed any difference in shooting, say, air pressure with an opaque color versus a metallic color?
No, not really.
No. Okay.
I know somebody was talking about tip size that they had bought one and it had like a 0.2 tip in it. And when they went to spray the flake, it was just building up on the end because it was so small it wasn't letting it push through.
Come out, yeah.
So I've heard of that, but other than that, I've never had a problem between opaque and metallics. One trick with metallics is to do what they call a drop coat. So after you spray, if you just spray across, you're going to get the lines. They call them tiger stripes.
Yep.
If you come back in and you spray in a circle pattern, that'll even all that out, and it won't give you those stripes anymore.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
That's the only difference in application between the two that I usually do. That's about it.
So are you on the same thing as the big trend now with the trigger style airbrush, or are you still using the button style?
I still use the old button style. I've seen those trigger ones. They're super cool. I might buy one just to play around with it.
And where I was going with that is the trigger styles now, the big thing is, is you can get the fan tip, just like a full-size gun, So that fan tip does give a real big spray. So you can pretty much get a whole side of a model with a 0.5 needle and a fan cup. So it's really nice. So you'll have to try that.
Yeah, I definitely will.
That's what I use. I have a primer brush. It's a 3/8, 3.38 brush that's solely for my primers, and then I have a color brush, which is a 0.5 that is all my colors. And then I recently got that one is a swallowtail, and then my first one, the primer brush, is a A68, which are all gallery brushes. And then I've got one that now is dedicated, thanks to Jason, is going to be dedicated to the clear, and that's that new Black Widow from Spectrum that you get at Harbor Freight. So I'll have 3 different brushes to lay it down with. But the point being, I just, for me, it's an organized thing, right? I know that one's for color, that one's for primer, and that one's for clear. But I definitely have had better luck. I tried the metal flake through the 3.8 and it worked, but I definitely had better luck sending it through the 0.5 than I did through the 0.38.
Yeah.
Not that it didn't work, but especially like the Orion Silver, something with a lot of heavy flake in it, it'll work, but you get a better feel. And that fan makes a lot of difference too. I mean, you can really lay it down there and it looks really, really nice.
Nice.
Not that I'm the greatest painter in the world, but I'm learning just like everybody else. I'm trying to get
fine.
to those.
There's nothing wrong with your paint.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with the paint. The applicator is the problem. The guy that's applicating it.
Yeah, but you look at your Hudson. That green is a beautiful green. It laid down pretty nice. You did a good job.
Yeah, and that's straight out of that. I mean, that speaks to the paint. That's straight, and like he said, out of the bottle onto the model in 500 clear. That was before I started using 2K clear. That's got the 500 clear on it, and even at that, it doesn't even have a lot of it. I found out later that I should have been putting it on heavier than I was, but I was really, really happy with that. Especially if you take the Volkswagen, which is the House of Colors Wild Cherry, and you put it next to the Hudson, and you're just looking at the paint job itself. You could see where I got a little better at it. So I was pretty happy with that part.
Yeah.
And practice.
Not according to the PAMSCON judges, but
I always hate to tell
circle
people
back
that.
around about Acme. What would be? What we're trying to throw some bait out there to you, Mr. Jameson. Acme. Have you ever heard of the Acme show? It's in Atlanta. Well, it's in the Atlanta area. It's a huge show. I know it's a long way from Salt Lake City, Utah, but we would love for you to come out there. We're going up there this year.
So you want me to come out to the Acme show? You want me to come out to the Acme show? Is that what you're saying?
That's what we want. We want you to come out to the Acme show.
I would love to. I know quite a few guys that go to that show. And yeah, it's supposed to be just amazing. Like, what is that? Like the biggest one in the Southeast now? It's a huge show.
Definitely in the Southeast. Yeah. Definitely in the Southeast. Possibly on the East Coast. The NNL East is still a very big show, but Fred, you saw him ask a couple questions up here. He's a member of that club, and I believe, and I can't speak for him, but I believe they're trying to take over where that show that used to be in Salt Lake, was doing it, or at least do it on this side. Because I know I never went to that show. What'd you call it? GLC? Is that what it's called?
GSL, yeah, GSL.
Yeah, GSL. There, I think that's kind of I know that a lot of YouTubers go over there to the Acme thing. This year's going to be my first year there, so I'm looking forward to getting to it. But it's supposed to be a really, really good show, and it's a good time for sure. Yeah, there's Fred. It's the 26th in Cartersville, Georgia, so it's just outside of Atlanta.
Okay. Coming up this month?
Yep.
This month, yes, sir.
Okay. I wouldn't be able to do it this month, but I might be able to do it next year. We kind of got all freed up for travel now, so yeah, I'll definitely look into that.
Definitely, that's a
really good show to go to.
Yeah.
Especially if you wanted to go as a vendor. And if you get ready, I can put you in touch with Fred, and he can either he can put you in touch with people that you need to be in touch with, or he can walk you through, or whatever you need to do. But I'm sure being a vendor there would be really cool.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
awesome.
He just said there was over 800 builds on the table last year alone. So that's
a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And that's a lot.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I know guys are having a huge show at 300 builds.
Yeah, and there's a lot of the YouTube content creators usually kind of migrate down to that. It's almost kind of seems like it's the national event for the YouTube content creators, really.
It really is.
Yeah. So
get a lot of the guys together and hang out. Like I said, I've not been, but we watched videos from last year, and people that we know here in Florida and in the Southeast that we get to see at the different shows. Carry 18 models to Acme. 18 models to Acme.
Yeah.
But a lot of Mark Baston and Old Tom, there's a lot of people that go up there that are world-renowned quality builders, and but they're also YouTubers and good guys. And it's great to be able to see them. I've met them individually. I've met them at different shows throughout here in Florida and the Southeast. But to have everybody together, that's going to be a good time for sure. There's a lot of good
Absolutely.
guys out there. We look forward to it. And a short notice for this year, but put it on the calendar for next year, man. It'll be a good time for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and we'll get you hooked up with Fred, and then if you wanted a vendor down there, I'm sure Fred can put you in touch with the right people and sell your products down there. That'd be a win-win for you.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Yeah, so we're trying to be a little more involved in the modeling community. The last couple of years, a little bit of health issues. We had a dog that was older and we couldn't leave her for too long. So we've been kind of out of the show circuit for a while, but now we're back and trying to do a lot more with the hobby too. I'm going to be doing a build off in December. I'll talk about it on my website and on my newsletter. So I kind of don't want to get into it right here, but
yeah, that's fine.
Build off I'm going to be doing.
Yep. So you heard it, folks. Go sign up for his newsletter. Go to his website. I just signed up this week, so you'll get first crack at it.
And now's a good time to sign up because we're actually going to be doing this month's newsletter over the weekend because we were gone last weekend. So
yeah.
And in that newsletter, you'll announce that this is something that I always look forward to. You'll announce your color of the month that you run a special on.
Color of the month.
And yeah, that's always really cool because it's usually a better deal or a little bit of a discount on it. And then certain times of the year, you'll offer different discounts and stuff like that. So it's always really cool to check it out. And of course, you can always use 24/7, 365. You can always use the Outlaw 10 and get you a 10% discount at ScaleFinishes.com. The viewers from my channel have heard that. Many of the viewers in here have heard that many times. I used to get picked on in the lives. They're like, "Uh-oh, here comes Mr. 10% off."
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to say happy anniversary to you because that's why you were on vacation.
Yep. Spent last week in Vegas. It was super fun.
That's awesome.
That's it.
Got to see the Tropicana before they imploded it, so that was kind of cool.
That's it. But well, all right, we're rolling up on an hour and 12 minutes. I'm sure we've hogged up enough of your time, but I guess my number one question is: did you go through your wife's total agenda? Because we don't want her to not have her questions asked. Because
I did. Everything's been checked off. Everything's checked off. We're 100% good. We can go, and everybody will have a good night.
Well,
Mr.
I just want to throw this out there too for you is that if you do get some new product or whatever, and you want to come on here and announce a new product, we're more than willing to let you come back on a manufacturer spotlight thing. And if there's hot topics that are coming up in the industry, go ahead and just let us know, and we'll be glad to bring you on and let you shoot the breeze. Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would love to do that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
That's cool. Awesome. Anytime you got something upcoming or something different, something new, you can start getting into these kits or whatever, or what you just let us know. We'd be happy to have you back on here and let you spread the word.
Yep. New tools. Whatever. Yep.
Yeah, whatever you got. But speaking of spreading the word, how can everybody find you?
ScaleFinishes.com or on YouTube at ScaleFinishes. Or if you want to contact me directly, ScaleFinishes@gmail.com. Get you right into my inbox. So, yeah, it's the best way.
Remember, everybody, sign up for that newsletter, everybody.
That's it. Sign up for the newsletter. Get that color of the month, the different discounts that are offered around the holidays. I know usually Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then I think 4th of July, you usually offer one.
Yeah, we're working on a Black Friday sale right now.
Awesome.
Nice. Yeah, that's the next one coming up, ain't it? Black Friday.
I
wonder anymore what they celebrate more. Right? I'm gonna say, I wonder what they celebrate more now. Do they celebrate Thanksgiving more, or do they celebrate Black Friday more? It's hard to tell anymore.
Oh man, I think you just started an internet debate that's gonna ring on for a few months.
Oh, that's why they call me the mouthpiece. Maybe they'll change it to stink stick. Gotta stir stuff up. Mr. Jameston, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you. The information is amazing. Your product is awesome. Everybody knows I've been using it for a while. I've steered as many people as I can over there, and I've never heard a bad thing about it. But we appreciate you taking the time to stop by our show, let our viewers know what's going on and about your product and where you came from, and showing your awesome builds and your diversity in your builds. You know, everything from figures to tanks to the 67 Chargers. So thank you very much for being on the show, sir.
Oh,
Thank you.
it was an honor. Thank you.
All right,
Awesome.
guys. Well, Jason, you want to go ahead and start with the sign-offs and we'll get out of here and let Mr. Jameson go do his thing?
Thank you, everybody, for coming on again. We really, really appreciate it. Prayers go out from me, the whole Klein area here, me, the wife, everybody, to the people in Florida, down south, especially the North Carolina people that are going through all that. I've been watching a lot of videos, man, people's farms, and it's terrible. We could go all night, but thanks for everybody that comes on here. Thanks to my co-host, Mike, and thanks to our awesome producer, Bruce. Mike?
Bruce, you want to tell everybody where they can find you?
Yeah, I'm Bruce over at Bruce's Eclectic-World YouTube channel. And I also want to send out my prayers to everyone in Florida. That's unimaginable for me. Of course, I'm used to tornadoes, but hurricanes, yeah, no. But thank you for each and every one that came and found the new channel tonight. I know the chat's a little light, but everybody's going to find us eventually. Kevin came in real late, so he did find us. So thank you, each and every one of my hosts. Thank you very much for the awesome show. Mr. Jameson, for coming in. Lots of great information. I may have to spend some money next month.
All right.
I did.
On to you, Mike.
I want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody for all the prayers, the thoughts. I know we started the show that way, but I want to bring it back around. Everybody that reached out, everybody that made comments, thank you so much for your thoughts and prayers. Mine go out to those that were affected much harder than I was. We were blessed that we got a little bit of debris, a little bit of rain, lost some power for like 12 hours, but 12 hours away from the workbench, or working by tea lights. If you saw the picture I sent out to a few of you guys.
See that.
But prayers for guys like Chris. I saw Chris in the chat, and prayers for those guys. Prayers for Norm, the half-assed model. And I know a tree landed on his place. And prayers to everybody that were down that way. Thoughts. If there's anything I can do to help, please feel free to reach out. As always, guys, thank you, chat, for chiming in. Thank you for following us over to the new channel. I echo what Bruce was saying. We're a little light this week, but people will move over, and they will get it all figured out, and we'll be back to our normal head count. But we're thankful for everybody that came over.
Absolutely.
But next week we will be doing. Next week's our third week. We're introducing something next week that's going to be a little bit different. Jason, you want to tell them about that? Since it was your awesome idea.
We're going to call that build night. So we're going to actually have cameras shining down on our benches. So you're going to see us actually building. So that way there, you're not just seeing us flopping our gums all the time.
I know how disappointed you guys and gals are going to be that you won't be able to see this beautiful face, but you'll still hear this tenor voice that sounds like a Kentucky Bluebird. So you guys will be safe there. All right, guys. Y'all be good. Be good at it. Be safe next week, and we look forward to seeing everybody next Thursday night, same time, same channel. Peace out, y'all.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye, everybody.
2 thumbs up.
Well,
can you get us out? Can you get us out of here, Bruce? I feel like we're in suspension.
I'm the guy that punches the buttons, and it didn't work.
Gotta love the lives, right? We're in mid-stroke.
Oh,
Let's try it one more time.
Let's try it again.
Nope.
Still didn't work.
We're just going to. I was trying to run the outro, but that's okay. We're just going to end it right here, folks. Goodbye, everybody.
Right here. Good night, everybody. Lives. Gotta love the lives.